The Gloucester Park Preview is proudly presented by Retrovision. Our panel of experts will dissect the premier harness race meeting of the week and hopefully find the winners. Retrovision, lowest prices guaranteed. RAC members save an extra 5% every day at Retrovision.
Welcome along to the Retrovision Gloucester Park Preview with 10 races to look at on the program this evening. The first getting underway at 5:40. Gary Hall Jr. will be along very soon to have a look at his trials for the card this evening, and fixed odds available with Tab Touch on all races. Joining us in the studio, we've got the boys. Holly County, good morning.
Morning, Matt. It's a really good night of racing tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Glenn Moore, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, boys, and good morning, listeners. Yeah, the Derby is approaching. We've got the Derby Prelude Race 1 Golden Ticket, the 4-year-old race Group 3 4-year-old Championship as well, and this fast class race is a beauty tonight too, Matt.
Yeah, looking forward to the program, which gets underway at 5:40, and we've got the first. We can work through that before we get to Gary Hall Jr. We've got When in Vegas, number 1. It's the Taste of WA book now, Derby Prelude, 21.30 at 5:40. And one When in Vegas, $14. Lincoln Lou, $1.90. Lulamore, 101. Elite Fleet, 20. Chase Me, 240. Boy Blue, 13. Full Swing Denario, 126. Rumble Strip at $9. Major Mickey Whitby, $51. With Kinky and Captain's Creek, those three at the $51 quote here, Glenn.
Yeah, Greg Bond was on Talking Trots last night, boys, and indicated that When in Vegas will be attempting to lead all the way.
Will it?
Yep. So, which was a bit of a curveball because the market was telling you that Lincoln Lou was likely to get the lead. And the money's been heavily laid on Lincoln Lou on that basis. But Greg wants to give When in Vegas its opportunity in front. Now, if it does lead, it changes the speed map completely. Look, in the context of that conversation, which is obviously critical, I'm leading to Chase Me because I think the versatility will be there. Plenty of money for Chase Me as well. Big respect for Lincoln Lou. Depends whether Lincoln Lou still may get the lead. It might be able to push on and get it, but that scenario that we're talking about makes it a little bit more doubtful. And I'm leading to those two horses to probably fight it out. 5 Chase Me, 2 Lincoln Lou. Boy Blue, very impressive at Pinjarra, the way it's been sprinting. Goes to Gloucester Park, a different ball game in terms of how he handles that the first time, but a promising horse clearly with high speed. If they go hard, it could be coming late. And the 8 Rumble Strip, you can't fault Rumble Strip's form. At the moment on the rankings, it's outside the top 12, but no doubt it'll elevate with some horses probably not going around in those rankings. But clearly they'll want to perform well tonight to elevate it as well. And I think it's deservedly probably in the 12. I've gone 5, 2, 6 and 8. 5, 2, 6, 8. Ollie, your thoughts?
I thought that Lincoln Lou was quite short, given that indication that When in Vegas was going to lead the race. It's a really interesting race now. I think Chase Me is going to be hard to beat if he's able to get that position outside the leader, but that's going to give a really good run to Lincoln Lou, who we know is a very fast horse. So he's going to be really dangerous coming at them late. I think if When in Vegas does elect to lead, that really hurts the chances of Rumble Strip, who may not be able to get up on speed, and that seems to be where he does his best work. From gate 8, he probably gets a long way back, but if When in Vegas was to hand over the lead, Rumble Strip might be able to get forward there, and from there he'd be hard to beat. And I've got Boy Blue in for 4th, who was so impressive last start, winning by a huge margin. This is a big step up in class, but he seems to have a lot of speed, so has to be respected, and he can be running into it late. 2, 5, 8, 6.
2, 5, 8 and 6 for Ollie there. I'm with the 2 on top. I thought it would lead and win, so my map is out the window, but I've already tipped it everywhere else. So 2 on top, Lincoln Lou, 5 in for second, who is having a look at the race. Last 2 times When in Vegas has drawn 1, it's handed up, and it's run first and second in both of those. So it's interesting that it's going to try and lead throughout tonight. But 2 on top for me, Lincoln Lou, 5 in for second. Chase Me, he's come back really well. I'm a bit of a fan of Boy Blue. I think he's a pretty smart type. If the 1 does lead, then that's going to bring Boy Blue into it. He sprinted well last start, and 1 When in Vegas in for 4, 2, 5, 6 and 1. to go along with Glenmore's 5, 2, 6 and 8 and Ollie County's 2, 5, 8 and 6. Gary Hall Jr. is about to join us. And no doubt that news is music to his ears in terms of Chase Me wanting to have a bit of tempo in the race underneath in the early stages. So Rumble Strip, just mentioning before we get Junior up, Ollie, going to be hard to get into the race?
Yeah, I thought that just being drawn wide in this race makes it a bit tough for a horse that generally seems to do his best work up on speed. He's been so impressive his last few runs, but just with the fact that the stablemate might potentially be leading, I'm not sure Chase Me would be happy to take cover on that horse and might be forced back to the rear and be left with a pretty big task there, Rumble Strip.
Okay, well, Gary Hall Jr. is joining us now and he'll be able to give us his opinion on the race. Junior, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
How does the first race unfold for you?
Not exactly sure, to be honest. Yeah, I guess a lot depends on what happens inside me early, but yeah, I think Chase probably he's strong enough to at least push forward early and find the position outside whoever does lead, and then from there, I think he can probably control it a little bit.
Sorry, Junior, you'd be happy to hold the breeze. The horse like Rumble Strip came. What would you do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to hold it. I think if When in Vegas was leading, I'd take my chances of being able to sit outside him, and to a lesser degree, but still with the same mindset with Lincoln Lou. I think when he's leading, he's probably more vulnerable than when he's coming from behind you. So, yeah, happy to sit outside either one of those two, to be honest.
And you'd probably have Lincoln Lou on your back in that case. If When in Vegas leads, Lincoln Lou would be 1-1 on your back. And then
I'd be more worried about him from that position than made in front even. Not saying he couldn't win from in front. Obviously he can, but I think from my back, if I had to work the leader over and had the 3 wide train coming and he got out, he'd be pretty dangerous.
In race 3, Gary, you've got Sweet Coco, who was a really good winner last start when leading all the way. This time there's a bit of speed drawn underneath. How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, she was really good. Better than I expected, to be honest. She goes well from a sit here at home, but when she leads, she still works good, but she doesn't seem to sort of go as well. But yeah, when she got to the races, she was a different horse. So yeah, I think she's come up awfully short, but I guess that's off the strength of her last win. She won pretty comfortably. Yeah, I thought Stormy Skies obviously would like to probably lead, but yeah, we'll come out pretty hard and see what happens early and see where we can get to. I think if she leads, she should be winning, and even if she doesn't lead, she can probably, it's a race she could probably win from the breeze, you'd expect.
Mr. Smarty, tricky little draw and a tricky little tactical race too, given Minstrel is drawn off the front line. You've got Bricky's Dream there as well. And obviously, He's a Sport will be trying to press through the middle. Longreach Bay drawn 1. How do you view that race?
Do we know what's going on with the 2 and the 4? Like, is 2 leading, if it can? Or?
Greg Bond gave no firm indication, so I think that'll be 1 for the birdcage tonight. He wants both horses obviously pressing forward. He intimated that he thought that Longreach Bay would more than likely take a sit in this company, but both forwards happy with Minstrel.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, exactly. A bold statement, but you talk about Longreach Bay? Yeah. I thought he'd sit, though. I really did think he'd sit in this company.
Oh, I'm saying, of course he's sitting.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay. Well, He's a Sport. My gut feeling would be in front with Minstrel outside the leader, because that would give Minstrel the controlling position. Bricky's Dream obviously will push forward out of the gate. So it's going to be a little bit on. I think Minstrel want to be outside He's a Sport. But whether he hands over, we may get an indication tonight in the birdcage. What do you do after that? Minstrel's in the breeze. You probably went out in 2 back then.
Yeah, I'd just stay there, don't I?
It may not be a lot of tempo, I guess.
It just all depends what happens early. I mean, if He's a Sport is leading and Minstrel's breathing, that probably, makes it a pretty hard race for anything back in the field. But if either sport sits on Minstrel, then Minstrel's $1.02, and the other was probably guaranteed to run second as well. So it's a pretty tough race on paper, and from the draw for Smarty, I would have thought. I think if he runs top 3 tonight, he's doing a good job.
In race 5, Gary, the Gary Hall Senior stable has 2 runners here. Race 5, yep. 2 runners here. Was it a tough decision whether to go with Alta Tribute or whether to go with Franco Motu, who was so good last start in that 4-year-old race at Pinjarra?
Sweet Pins as well, too, Ollie.
Oh, yep.
I didn't really know who to drive, and then after they worked the other day, Senior said, "Oh, who are you putting on this horse?" referring to Motu, and I said, "I don't know, I haven't done the driver changes yet." I haven't even decided who I was driving, and he said, "Oh, I think you should put Madison on this horse," and I was, "Okay then." So she's had the benefit
scientific approach.
Winning a Group 1 for him the week before. I think she's flavour of the month. So it's a hard race for our horses, I think, with the draw. Sweet Pins, I don't think, can get involved early. He's better off sort of use free speed late. Elder Tribute will go forward with as well, and then the other horse I haven't spoke to Senior about how he wants him driven, and he can talk to Madison about that. But we saw last start at Pinjarra, he goes pretty good when he's driven forward as well, and he can sit up as well. So he's got sort of the versatility aspect to his racing pattern. But it looks a hard race. I guess the big question is how the 1 will go when she's asked to do something off the gate and then finish off as well. So she's racing obviously in career best form, so you'd expect that she'd be able to do it. If she can't do it now, then she's never going to be able to.
The Iron Duke in race 6, can you go back-to-back?
Yeah, I think he can. He was pretty good last start. He sort of took charge of me early out wide, and I tried to get him back and didn't have much luck doing so, and then pressed forward, and he got a little strong outside the leader, but did seem pretty comfortable there, and he won pretty easily on the line. So, I think he can go back-to-back.
Princess Katie's an interesting one. The 2,500 for He Survive, a bit of a question mark, I guess, if He Survive does want to lead and fires up. How do you view Princess Katie drop behind He Survive and hope He Survive doesn't over-race too much and you become some sort of a knockout chance from that draw?
Yeah, I would think we'd be dropping straight into the rail, I would say. But she's the last time I drove her might have been 1,700, but I don't think the 25 will worry. But she actually went really good. I thought she ran nowhere, but I said to Youngie when I come in, that's probably the best she's ever gone for me. So I'm not sure how long ago that was or how she's been going since. I haven't really followed her, but she's the last time I drove her, she ran awesome. So I'd give her probably a knockout each way chance in this race, but she'd need some of the better perform runners to obviously have something, some sort of bad luck in their runs.
Best chance tonight?
Probably the Iron Duke, really. But I know he's awfully short, so. He's definitely my best winning chance.
All right, Gary, thank you for your time. Good luck tonight.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Bye.
There we have Gary Hall Jr. joining us here on the Retrovision Gloucester Park preview. Let's move on to race number 2, which is the winner behind the scenes experience pace. 21.37 is the scratching. Chili Punter 9.50 and Soho Vespalind at 10. Me Flash 41. Quinton 3.60. Illawong Mustang 81. Rock and Roll Artist 3.40. Instigator, Little Happy Fella 81. Instigator 3.40. Dark Eyes 9.50. Little Master 14. Flying Rumour $51. Ollie.
This is a really interesting race. Now, I was very keen on the chances of Safer, who's been scratched here. Unfortunately, that horse was flying, and I thought it would be really hard to beat in this race, but it's changed complexion now. I think if Rock and Roll Artist was able to cross at the start, he's a horse with very, good gate speed. If he was able to cross, I think he'd take plenty of running down. Hasn't had the best of luck in recent starts, so if he is able to lead, it's going to be really, really hard to beat. Quinton was very good last start running on. Should be better for that run. Second up from a spell. Going to be hard to beat in this race if he can secure a good run somewhere. Instigator, drawn 9. Looks pretty tough from out there, but he's a horse that can be driven a number of ways. He's a very tough horse, so they could go forward or drive him for one run at them late, and certainly going to be thereabouts. And I put Flying Rumour in there for fourth. Was solid there last start in probably what was a bit of a stronger race. I think second up here should be better for that first up outing, and at a bit of a price could get into the money somewhere. I thought 6, 4, 9, 12.
6, 4, 9, 12. Your thoughts, Glenn?
So what do you got leading? Rock and Roll Artist or Quinton?
I think if it's going to be a really interesting battle, and I don't think it's clear cut, but I lent to Rock and Roll Artist crossing.
Yeah, $10 into 360 too, Quinton, which is interesting. And money, of course, for Rock and Roll Artist as well. So, yeah, there are varying opinions there. Aid de Campo queried on that. Got the hood on, Rock and Roll Artist. Just wants to liven him up a touch. If he can get to the lead, he's pretty confident that he can go close to winning. But there is that little doubt too, and Quinton's got a bit of gate speed itself. But I just lent to Rock and Roll Artist myself, maybe getting there. And I've gone 6 from 4 on that basis. Quinton obviously went terrific last week. Tracking Elder Tribute into the race. I've gone 6-4. 9 Instigator, always to be respected. Solid in the market at 340. Bit of money around there too. And with the scratching of Safer, which I did have in the numbers, pretty wide open, but so Vesperlin racing in career best form, you'd say. Drawn 2's got a nice position there, spot there to earn. And I've gone 6, 4, 9 and 2, Matt.
6, 4, 9, 2. I'm with 9 on top. I think there could be enough speed on to bring Instigator into it, and he's tough. So 9 on top, Instigator. 6, Rock and Roll Artist. Thought if he led, he'd be hard to beat. 4, Quinton, same scenario there. And number 1, Chili Punter in for fourth. Hit the line looking for a run last start. 9, 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 9, 12 for Ollie, and 6, 4, 9, 2 for Glenn in race 2. Third race, 6.53, Barbagallo Italian Fireworks Night, 21.30. 1 Stormy Skies, $5. Loctay, 18. Siangdi at 71. And the Sweet Cocoa, $1.28. Better Than Secret, 126. Pecunious, 151. Grand Coteau, 23. Rebline, 12. Dame Velo at 17. Sugar Delight, 18. Push Button Rock at $23 in this race, Glenn.
Yeah, look, the start here, critical. Stormy Skies, if it does lead, I think it's going to be very cheeky. And probably you'd say in that case, although Sweet Cocoa's going terrifically well, ran on 27.6 last start on its ear. If Stormy Skies can lead, it won't be any pushover. The only blue I've got here is Loctay, boys. Any hope Loctay could get Stormy Skies out of the gate?
Drawn alongside, probably not.
Might get a half to 3/4, which that'll be good enough for Stormy Skies to kick through. And I've just at the value at the $5 as opposed to the odds, very short odds on. I'm going to lean to Stormy Skies to be a reasonable each-way bet here. The horse is obviously racing terrifically well prior to that winner, Pinjarra. The riding was on the wall. The horse was actually going okay. I'm just going to tip it against the favourite, 1 from 4. The start will be important. Hopefully Loctay doesn't do too much damage to Stormy Sky. 1 from 4, the 10, Sugar Delight gets that trail through, racing well, and the 8, Rebline, in a very difficult race in terms of the top 4, Redline, Dame Valor, etc. I'll just tip to Redline to run fourth. 1, 4, 10 and 8.
1, 4, 10 and 8. I'm with the 4 on top. Sweet Cocoa impressed me last start. Is short enough. I am concerned Stormy Skies will try and hold the lead. But 4 from 1, Stormy Skies racing well. 10, Sugar Delight. Don't think she's racing at her best. Had every chance last start and wasn't able to win, but gets a nice draw. And number 8, Rebline, agree. Think it'll run a good race, Ollie.
I think if Stormy Skies is able to lead this race, as has been suggested she might, she'd run a really good race, and she was terrific there last start when winning. She ran a solid last 1200, and if she was to run times like that again, I think it would make it really hard for Sweet Cocoa, but certainly it'll come down to whether Loctay can get across in the early stages, and just with the value of Stormy Skies, I'm happy to put her on top and go that way. I think Sugar Delight's going to get a really good run, as has been suggested, in behind that the leader there, or the potential leader, and she was okay last start, but just getting a softer run here following the pegs. I think she's going to be somewhere in the money. I've got Sweet Coco in there for third. She's quality and she's been good in WA so far. Last start she was able to lead. If she can't lead here, I think she's very, very short. And I've got Loctay in for fourth, who if she can't cross at the start, looks at a bit of trouble, but if she can, she's probably looking at a top 2 finish. 1-10-4-2.
1-10-4-2, so 1-4-10-8, 1-10-4-2 and 4-1-10-8 in race number 3. Glenn Mortimer will come up after the traffic, so people can have phones at the ready, 0427 789 571. There's a jackpot $200 voucher upcoming from Retrovision. Let's move on to race number 4, and we've got the book and the Beau Rivage for Fireworks Night Pace. 21.30, scratching 7, 1 Long Range Bay 91, Gee He's a Sport $3, Bricky's Dream 20, Minstrel 205, I'm a 5-star general and a high price 126, Never Ending 18, Hot Footed 151, looks unders. Arden's Horizon 61, Mr. Smarty 350 and Hotly Pursued at $34 here, Ollie.
I think in this race it'll really come down to which of these two Bond runners chooses to lead, and we'll probably only find that out when we get into the parade ring and are able to ask those drivers what they're planning on doing in this race. If Minstrel does lead, he looks the winner. He's going to be incredibly hard to beat. I'm leaning that way. I've got Mr. Smarty in there for second. He was good again last start, just did a lot of work and was beaten by the horse that got that trip 1-1 on his back in Captain Ravishing. He's going to get a really good run through at the start on the back of Gee He's a Sport, who's likely to go forward, and he should be 1 out, 1 back, or 1 out, 2 back, probably behind Bricky's Dream, and from there he's certainly going to be dangerous. I've got Gee He's a Sport in for third, who is probably the first horse down to the pegs and then has options from there, potentially leading or sitting on the stablemate Minstrel, and I put Hotly Pursued in at a bit of a price there for fourth, who was great last start. He led, lost second on protest, but wasn't far away from Mr. Smarty, who is a much shorter price in this race. The step up to 2100 is a little bit of a query. He is having his first run in this type of grade, so just keen to include him at a price. 4-11, 2-12.
4-11, 2-12. I'm with the 4 on top as well. Minstrel loved the first up run. Looks hard to beat. 2G He's a Sport's going to be the testing material in the race. 11 in for third. Mr. Smarty, he'll be running on, but could be controlled from at the front. And number 8, Never Ending, expecting him to get home well from the back of the field again. But another tricky draw, 4-11-8, Glenn.
What you've got, Minstrel, Breeze or in front?
Breeze.
Breeze, I thought so too. I think, He's a Sport, they want to give it its chance in front. Look, there's been money for both of them, which is interesting. I don't necessarily think it's stable money. Just opinions as to maybe He's a Sport might just take that opportunity to see what he's made of in front in this situation. Minstrel very comfortable on the breeze. And the point is, if Minstrel's in the breeze, nobody can move. That's
Correct.
the big thing there. And that's why they might do it. I'm sure that's the way you're thinking, Matt, as well, and Ollie as well. But look, it might end up in front Minstrel, which probably turns into a dead set odds-on chance. I'm leading He's a Sport, maybe just to dictate this race, turn it into a little bit of a sprint home. There could be a little bit of action from Bricky's Dream out of the gate, but I think he'll be looking for the quick cover. 2 to win, 4 Minstrel to run second, 11 Mr. Smarty to run third, and 3 Bricky's Dream probably gets that nice trail to run fourth. 2, 4, 11 and 3.
2, 4, 11, 3, 4, 11, 2, 12 for Ollie, 4, 2, 11 and 8 for me in race number 4. We'll get into race 5 before the traffic. Taste of WA 4-year-old championship, 21.30. Copycat Queen 310, I'm Lightning Banner 91, Sweet Pins 18, Golden Load 460, Elder Tribute 650, Blaze Away 126, Franco Motu 550, Opal Hunter 19, Wave Rider 16, Just Call Me Mickey 340, and Cabernet $126, Glenn.
Yeah, look, Copycat Queen, this will be really interesting from a long-term and short-term viewpoint to find out tonight. Aiden's very confident, gate speed. Did talk about holding, he could have held Waterloo in one particular race, and it has got gate speed, Copycat Queen. The trick will be, as Aiden suggested, that she leads and settles. So if she leads and settles, she's going to be very hard to beat here. Gets a great opportunity, terrific run, the Pinjarra 4-year-old classic. Amazing sectionals. She's living up to her reputation as being one of the best mares in the state. Look, if she can lead and control it, I think she's the one to beat. I'm just banking on her. with her now experience to be able to handle it and lead and win. The 10, therefore, follows it, becomes some sort of a chance, but Aidan did indicate the last thing he'll be doing is letting it out. But it might get out early enough to run second, 110. And I've thrown the 5 and 4 in, Elder Tribute, Golden Load. I think they'll be the prominently positioned ones after they sort themselves out early, and that's Elder Tribute, Golden Load. I think they'll be up there fairly close to the leaders. So I've gone 110, 5 and 4 in that race, in many, many outside chances there as well. Some very nice 4-year-olds.
110, 5 and 4 on with the 4 on top. Golden Load was more attracted to the price at double figures, is now to 460, but I thought the run at Pinjarra was full of merit. Coming in off a freshen up, scintillating half, and I think he'll run a really good race here. 4 on top, 1 Copycat Queen, just that query over being used early and how she can fend off a good field like this. 10 in for third. Just Call Me Mickey's going to get a lovely run, and 11 Cabernet I'm throwing in for fourth at massive odds, because I think it's going to punch the rail, and Cabernet's a much better horse than $126 suggests, so can run into the top 4, 1, 10, 11. Ollie.
I've got Copycat Queen on top here. I've been so impressed by her this time in. She's been able to sustain really strong sectionals, and just that one query on her leading, which she'll probably be doing in this race, whether she can settle out in front. But if she does settle out in front, I think she's going to be winning this race. She will have a very good horse on her back in Just Call Me Mickey, who is probably going to be better for that second up run. Comes into this race third up, and if the gaps appear soon enough, is going to be running right into it late. And I'm also pretty keen on Golden Load. I think this horse can work forward at some stage, find a prominent position, and he's been really impressive this time in. Was able to show a little bit of versatility when doing the work recently and proving too good, which may have been a little bit of a query previously. And I've got Franco Motu in for fourth, and Gary Hall Jr. has jumped off this horse, but I was really impressed by it last start at Pinjarra. Was able to do the work and run third there, and should be better for that run third up into this race. I think if he can get the right run into it, he can be somewhere in the money. 110.47.
110.47, 110.54 for Glenn, 4-1-10-11 for me. Out to the roads.
On the Retrovision Gloucester Park preview, it is time for a Retrovision update with Glenn Mortimer.
Joining us a little later than normal, Glenn Mortimer is on the phone now. $200 voucher to Retrovision. And Morts, very good morning to you. What can we find in Retrovision this weekend?
Yeah, Matt Young, very good morning to you, and good morning to all of the listeners. October is bonus month at Retrovision, so we have some big bonuses store-wide on selected products, plus we have up to $450 cash back on selected quad door, French door and side-by-side refrigeration. And remember, RAC members receive an additional 5% every day at Retrovision.
Okay, that's plenty to look forward to at Retrovision. We've got, of course, the quiz coming up, $200 voucher. Might need one of those. What can we look for in terms of a quiz this week?
Who Am I? Foaled in 1998. I won 26 from 81 starts, including a Ladyship Mile, a Wasbar Breeders' Stakes, an Empress Stakes, and a consolation of the Australian Pacing Championships, just to name a few.
Okay, so consolation of the APC, the Empress Stakes, a Wasbar Breeders' Stakes, and a Ladyship Mile. 26 from 81 and fold in 1998. Get on the text line 0427 789 571. Morts, thank you for your time. Good luck tonight with Never Ending and the rest of the stable.
Thanks, Matty. Have a great weekend.
Retrovision, lowest prices guaranteed. RAC members save an extra 5% every day at Retrovision.
Okay, we thank Glenn Mortimer for his time and sponsorship of this program. And text line is open. People are getting through with their thoughts here in the quiz. Boys, any thoughts on the quiz so far? Nothing?
No, not at this stage, Matt.
Okay, we've had a couple of answers come through. I had a crack at one, and it's wrong. So, which was Lombo Lafifi. So they'll give the hint that it's not Lombo Lafifi. So we move on now to race number 6 on the program, which is the Happy Birthday at Mark Council Pace, 21.30, 11 out, 1. Sunshine Swift 26, Pocket the Change 11, Better Arcade 15, Cover Note 21, Fleur de Marquis 41, The Iron Duke $1.45, Take a Hike 21 with Follow Rock and Roll, Queen in the Corner 41, off the charts at 11, and Chivalry is at $6. So Glenn, how did you see race number 6?
Yeah, look, interesting race. Iron Duke obviously impressive. Didn't beat great company, but did it impressively. Malachi's quite a good horse, but handled Malachi very easily. And this is slightly stronger, no doubt about it, but still, for me, gets the edge, the impressiveness of the way it won. I lean to Iron Duke to win. There'd probably be a little Pocket the Change, probably push for the early lead there. Better Arcade may do. Sunshine Swift try and hold up there somewhere, but I thought Pocket the Change might be able to press the button early, get there and maybe look to sit on Iron Duke. I've gone Iron Duke to win. The 10 off the charts, very good run last start. If they work a bit hard early off the charts and get into the clear, it'll be running on strongly. The 12 Chivalry keeps dropping back. It gets an opportunity here to definitely be in the money. I've got it in the money and can be put in the race. And the 2, Pocket the Change, if it does get that early lead, it's in a position where it can run top 4. 6, 10, 12 and 2.
6, 10, 12 and 2, and with the 6 on top as well. I think the Iron Duke will win. In for second, I'm putting in 3, Better Arcade, who I think will run a good race. 12 in for third, Chivalry's starting to get back to some better form. And number 10, off the charts, will be getting home well. 6, 3, 12, 10, Ollie.
I was happy to have Chivalry on top in this race. He's obviously not been quite at his absolute best, and some of his better efforts have been from the stand start. But I thought his effort last start was solid there behind Star Casino, who'd be certainly be very hard to beat in a race like this. I think he can push through well at the start on the back of Pocket the Change, who's likely to be the early leader, and then has options from there. And from there, I think he's going to be close enough to run a really good race here. I was keen to just be against the Iron Duke at the price. I thought he was very sure to, if he does lead and lead easily, he's certainly going to be hard to beat, but he probably beat a field last start that wasn't quite the quality of this field. So he's stepping up and he'll need to be better for that first up run. So just happy to be against him at the price, but certainly respect him. I've got Follow Rock and Roll in there for third, who's racing okay at the moment, was solid there last start, draws poorly in this race and will certainly need the speed on, but if it is, I can see him running into it, and off the charts has been racing well, hasn't had a lot of luck, and last start he was really good there running on late, so keen to include him, and with luck he can figure 12, 6, 8, 10.
12, 6, 8 and 10 with 6, 10, 12, 2 for Glenn, 6, 3, 12, 10 for me in race number 6. Race 7, $9 pints every Friday in Steelos or JP's, 25.36. He's a Vibe 370. Princess Katie at 10, My Ultimate Chevron 26, Sweet Vivian 290, Blitz and Buy at 11. 310 about Tualoo, Call Me What You Want 18, Who's the Dad 20, and Blazing Reactor $14, Ollie.
He's a Vibe has been really good recently. He scored 4 wins in his last 5 starts, and he's racing extremely well at the moment. The one query is he does get a bit fired up, and from the inside draw, if he is having to be used off the gate over the 2,500, that's a bit of a query. So he'll be able to lead early and then has options from there. If he leads or takes a sit, I think he's going to be hard to beat in this race, the way he's been going recently. Sweet Vivian just didn't have much luck there in that recent start, when in a much stronger race, she's probably going to press forward in this race, and if she can race in a prominent position, I can certainly see her being hard to beat over the 2,500, which seemingly would suit her style of racing. Princess Katie, I think she's going to get a really good run just behind the speed here. She's a horse with a bit of speed, and I think she's racing much better than her numerical form recently. She appeared to be really cruising in behind them last start and just had nowhere to go. So 3 back the rails, leaders back potentially in this race. She's going to get a really, really good run. Tualoo, he's the class, but he's first up in this race. Bit of a query whether he's breezing or getting a long way back in the race. So keen to include him because he is the class runner, but it looks a bit of a tough task for him first up. 1, 4, 2, 6.
1, 4, 2, 6. Your thoughts, Glenn?
Yeah, Bondi was on last night talking trots. Indicated they're very happy with Tualoo because obviously last prep, Tualoo didn't fire. 6, 8, 7 the form and just didn't fire the same way. Shadow Roll on Hyde's Hood on tonight, and the Bonds are happy with the horse. I'm leaning to Sweet Vivian. It's got great form, has had a few tough runs, that's the only query. But if it turns up in the way it's been racing, obviously last start was out of the race early, and all its form's been very good. 4 to win, Sweet Vivian. From the 1, He's a Vibe, the 2,536 a query. 4 to win from 1, the 2 to trail through Princess Katie, and the 6 to Aloo to be respected. I'm leaving it, call me what you want, I don't want to, but can't fit them all in. 4, 1, 2 and 6.
4, 1, 2 and 6 for Glenn. I'm with 6 on top, Tualoo. I think there could be a bit of speed on here. Tualoo, too bad to be true with its runs last time in. Prior to that was first class, so 6 on top. 4, Sweet Vivian's flying, but I'm not sure that she'll get the top. 1, He's a Vibe. I've got a query at the longer distance. And 7, Call Me What You Want, I've included into the top 4, 6, 4, 1 and 7. On to race number 8, happy birthday, Angelo and David Vallis. Pace, 21.30. 1 Star Lily, 2.92. Fly to the finish, 8.50. Tommy Price, 21. Wildcard, $12. Good Time Louis, 3.20. Tri-Real Brigade at $8. Captain Confetti at 11. Soundwave, 21. Middle Page, 15. Sitstrepo, 19. Major Freeway, 23. Glenn.
Yeah, not a bad race. Star Lily, the logical leader. Short price favourite. I'm going to go.
Short.
What price is it now?
$2.90.
Has it got out? Is it? Yeah, it did get in at one point. I didn't
There's
realise.
$1.85, which I thought was about right.
Okay.
And $2.90 seems very appetising.
Yep. So the drifters come. Last time I looked, it was into odds on, which I thought was far too short. Got out to a backable price that you're now suggesting. Look, I'm leading to Good Time Louis. Maybe is that where the money's gone then, Matt?
Yeah, it's your money.
Look, I do like it. But it was around the $5 mark when I was looking at
Investing.
And I'm tipping it on top to beat the 1. You may not be far off there with your analysis, Matt. But I am leaning to it. I think it's got a bit of upside in terms of the horses it's raced against in the past are far superior. But it'll need a touch of luck. The 1's going to be cheeky, we do know. It's got out to some sort of a backable price, 5 from 1. The 2, Fly the Finish, got the right draw to be around the place. Money for it as well, 15 to 8.50. And the 6, Tri-Royale Brigade. It's certainly a winning chance. Last start, 28.88. 27.69 home, held up late. Can be in the finish here if they work too hard, which could happen. 5, 1, 2 and 6, a few chances here. 5,
1, 2, 6. Your thoughts, Ollie?
I was really keen on the chances of Star Lily like
Same.
you, Matt. I thought she'd lead. I thought she'd get a pretty easy lead. The wildcard might potentially be an early challenger, but he's still pretty early in his preparation. So whether they elect to launch him off the gate, I don't think he's crossing Star Lily. So I think she'll be able to lead. She'll control things. She was terrific last start following Rakaloo. They went really, really hard in that race, and she was still able to run a clear second. I think she's flying at the moment, and if she does lead, I think she's going to be really hard to run down. I'm happy to put Tri-Royale Brigade in there for second. He's been racing really well recently, was able to score a good win when looked unlikely at the 400-metre mark a couple of starts ago, but he was able to close well and run over the top of them late, and he'll probably be looking to do similar in this race. Captain Confetti maybe mixed his form a little bit. I was really keen on him there last start, and he probably didn't put in one of his better runs. 2 back, he was really good when running second. So I think on that effort, he'd be competitive in this race. On last start, probably not so much. So he needs to recapture that form. I've got Good Time Louis in there for 4th, but I sort of thought it was a bit of an awkward draw. He's a horse that does get very keen. If he is left in the breeze, I think it's going to get pretty tough for him. So he is one of the class runners, though, so I have included him on that basis. 1-6-7-5.
1-6-7-5. I'm with the 1 on top. I thought would lead and win, Star Lily, who's been racing really well. In for second, I'm putting in the 5, Good Time Louis, who looks to be one of the main dangers in the race, but I think we'll have to do it probably from the breeze. 4, I've put in for third, the wild card. I thought there was a chance he could dash forward and maybe open up position behind the leader. And in for 4th and throwing in number 9 at Middle Page, who could press forward at some stage in the race and has been racing well. 1, 5, 4 and 9 in race 8. On to race number 9 on the program at 10.09. Taste of WA next Friday, 25.36. Franco Sheriff 170, but Del Boca Vista Bay is at 20. Rock Me Over at $9. Louis LeBeau 20. Cordero 21. 19 about Cold Hard Cash. $10 Max Better. Infinite Sign 480 and Cam's Boulder at $7. Ollie.
I saw the shadow roll went on Franco Sheriff in this race. Last start he did do a few things wrong, and he's since trialled at Wanneroo, and it looks like he passed there. So I think if he does lead in this race, which he should have the speed to, he's going to be really hard to run down. I can see him running a very good race out in front. I've got Del Boca Vista Bay in for second, who is a really good each-way price, in my opinion. He was great there last start. They went a 155 mile rate at Pinjarra, and he looked to be bolting in behind them. So I think he's racing in great form at the moment, and he's going to be really competitive, getting that great run potentially behind the leader. Rock Me Over, he was also in that race at Pinjarra, and he wasn't beaten far. He was probably suited by a strong tempo. He was maybe without a turn of foot. He's more of a grinding type at his old age, and he's got options here, whether he goes to the pegs or he stays in the running line. And I've got Infinite Sign in for fourth, who was pretty good last start in a stronger race and comes into this race third up, so should be nearing peak fitness. 1, 2, 3, 8.
1, 2, 3 and 8. So I'm going with the 8 on top. Infinite Sign, he's had 2 runs back. Held up in 154.8. Pinjarra held up last start behind them in a very strong race. I think he can win this race. Expecting him to run a really big race in this. Infinite Sign. 1, Franco Sheriff. Looks to be hard to beat from the draw. Del Boca Vista Bay thinks racing really well, can run a place. And 3 in for fourth in Rock Me Over, who's drawn to be close to the speed. 8, 1, 2, 3, Glenn.
Yeah, the 2,536 creates opportunities, quite a few runners here, including the ones you've mentioned. Interesting, Rock Me Over, $101 into $9. It's pretty generous, 101, where that came from.
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see that.
Yeah, I just noticed a minute ago, ridiculous. But clearly somebody's could cash in nicely there if it happens to bob up and not be on the realms of possibility. It's got to be some sort of a chance. Look, I've always liked Franco Sheriff. Clearly the horse has had some issues. It's gating problems. It's got the shadow roll on and suggested the trial at Wanneroo. Obviously went around okay. Look, if it behaves itself and leads, the opening price was a bit silly, $1.32. Getting out $1.70 might get better. I'm just going to lean to it. To beat the 8 Infinite Sign, big respect there. Its runs have been very good. A little bit of money around for it. Got the ability, Infinite Sign, to win races at Gloucester Park if it gets a decent prep into it. 1 from 8, 7 Max Better. Be around the place, I think, Max Better. It's racing consistently well, got badly checked last start. Plenty of excuses there, was about to make a move to run top 4. And the 4, Louis Lebeau, I'll throw it in. Louis Lebeau, pretty consistent horse. Be around the place in a wide open race for the placings. 1, 8, 7 and 4.
1, 8, 7 and a 4. 1, 2, 3 and 8 for Ollie. 8, 1, 2, 3 for me in race number 9. Last event is the Gloucester Park Book Your Christmas Party Now Pace, 21.30, and 1, Torrivian Amy, 15, Got a Good Warhol, 13, Call to Arms, 7, Fireplay, 26, It's Okay to Be Grey, 480, The Wand Waver, 270, Tubbs Farquhar at 11, Pocket Full of Opals, 23, American Cruise, 12, Burley Shard, $7, and Beach Captain, 21, Glenn.
Yeah, I like Wand Waver, the Wand Waver here. It's Okay to Be Grey drawn inside. It could be a little bit of an issue there. But the One Waver is dropping back significantly in class. Race against Better Fortune, Halston Louis, those type of horses recently. Sweet Coco was in that race, finished behind One Waver, although it was held up. One Waver ran 5th in that race. And its form recently has been against pretty good company. So I'm in the 155.6 too when it ran 8th to Sweet Coco last start. Still running on reasonably well, given the 155.6. I'm leaning to it here, 6 to win. From the 1, Torrivian Amy. I think Torrivian Amy might run a cheeky little race here. Got badly checked last start and still was okay late. And I think from the 1, it does generally run a good race. I think the run was good enough to suggest that it maybe can follow some pace here and run a race. 6 from 1, 10 Burley Shard to trail through if that does happen. 6, 1, 10. And the 5, It's Okay to Be Grey. One that's on the improve a little bit, could run the race. I think a bit of confidence there from Chris Vogt too in the media. 6, 1, 10 and 5.
6, 1, 10, 5, Ollie.
Really keen on the chances of Burley Shard in this race. I thought he was terrific there last start. He looked to be bolting in behind them, and then just after the line he shot through and looked like he really, really was running through the line powerfully. So I think if the luck comes in this race, it looks like there should be a genuine early tempo. I think he can certainly be running over the top. He will need luck from that inside back row draw, but he's racing incredibly well. Chris Voke early in the week, he suggested that It's Okay to Be Grey would be looking for the lead, and this horse has pretty good gate speed. Previously, he has done a few things wrong on the gate, but if he does everything right, I think he probably does have the speed to get across them. And Terrivian Amy, as Glenn suggested, wasn't too bad to run there first up. She follows speed quite well, and if she is able to get a trail on one of the more fancied runners, I certainly think she could be in the money somewhere. And the Wand Waver, I'm a bit concerned about that draw outside of It's Okay to Be Grey. Probably not noted as a horse that can do a lot of work, the Wand Waver, so bit of a query if that horse isn't able to get across in the early stages. 10, 5, 1, 6.
10, 1, 5 and 6. 6, 1, 10, 5 for Glenn. I found the race impossible. I'm going with the 3, Call to Arms on top each way. I think he can run a good race. 7, Tubbs Farquhar, driven conservatively on Tuesday, but I think he can run well here. He's racing well. 5, It's Okay to Be Grey. The Wand Waver in for 4th. I just don't think anything should be $2.70 in that field. 3, 7, 5 and 6. We'll take a break. The other side, best bets.
You are listening to the Gloucester Park Preview, proudly presented by Retrovision. Retrovision, lowest prices guaranteed. RAC members save an extra 5% every day at Retrovision.
Okay, time for best bets for tonight's program. We've got Team Multi coming up as well, so tune in for that. The quiz answer is Sand Pebbles, who was a winner of 26 from 81, winner of the Ladyship Mole, 1998 foaled. And the winner of the quiz is Ryan Bell. So well done to Belly. And Mortz has been notified. So
Belly jumps in. Thanks, Belly.
Yeah, that's right. And the rich get richer. We've got best bets. Ollie, your best?
Race 8, number 1, Star Lily. I thought she could lead all the way. And the best value for me was race 9, number 2, Del Boca Vista Bay, each way.
Okay, I'm with race 6, number 6. And that is the Iron Duke is my best. And race 8, number 1, I agree with Star Lily. I really like it. Glenn?
Yeah, I'll just throw Copycat Queen in for the Team Multi race 5, number 1, which gives us the odds of about $13 odd.
Yeah,
mate.
just a touch over $13 as it stands right now.
We'll get those 3 home. Copycat Queen, I like it. Into Iron Duke 6-6, 9-1, Franco Sheriff, those 3.
Okay, Glenn, thank you for your time. We'll chat again next week.
Good on you, Matt.
I think you're back to the bench, Ollie. I think Trent Cooper's back next week. So for our last few shows on this frequency, so we'll wish you all the best and thank you for your time.